Hi, I'm John Lockwood from Crafts2, and this tutorial video I'm going to show you how to stamp a sentiment and get a nice crisp foil coverage when using your Kaleido, the all-in-one die cutting, foiling and technique machine from Crafts2. So this is a piece that I did earlier today with a stamped image with some separate stamps, but also this is the sentiment that I stamped. You see there it's lovely and crisp, so I want to show you how we achieve that. So the first thing you want to do is to stamp your sentiment. Now I'm using here, this is my Crafts2 Press to Impress. You will get the best stamped impression in this, in my opinion, because it has the foam in the bottom, so you can get decent pressure into the stamp and it doesn't smear. So, and I'm using the sentiment stamp, comes from my centre sentiment set, so it's quite a nice bold crisp one which takes the foiling beautifully. All I need to do is, this is my Kaleido ink pad that I've already inked up. So we open that, we just do the priming of the stamp, just to get it started, and then we ink. So you just ink the stamp as you would do normally, making sure you've got a nice coverage, and we stamp that down. You may sometimes find with this ink, your paper peels with your stamp. Don't worry about that, I just turn it over and give it a little bit of a press and peel it off. If you can see there, that's not actually that crisp and dark, so that's not going to foil as well. So I've put it back into position, and this time I'm going to ink again. So never be afraid to re-ink an image or to re-ink a stamp to get a nice crisp black design showing through, and that's ideally what you want. You can see there now I've got a nice crisp happy birthday there. Now the most important thing to do that I've found when I'm doing sentiments is to set these aside to make sure they're 100% dry. Although the ink looks and feels dry, in certain areas it can be a little bit sort of wet still, and that doesn't help the foiling process. So here's a piece that I actually stamped, and I mean, you can leave them aside for 5 or 10 minutes. I tend to stamp lots of things together and then do all my foiling at the same time in one big go. So this has been left for about an hour. So all I want to do is to foil this. So I'm going to take a piece, again, I'm using the holographic silver foil from Crafts2. I'm just going to make a fold like that, but before I put this into my sandwich I want to show you a trick to make sure everything is foiled, and I only use this when I'm doing a sentiment or I'm doing a stamped image that I feel has a little bit of detail. What we actually do is we add a little bit of cushioning into the sandwich. So if you have found that some of your stamped images are showing a little bit more black and the foil's not adhering that brilliantly, sometimes this is a best tip. So I'm adding a piece of card into my sandwich. So I've got my base plate, piece of card, I've got my base plate, and I've got my clean top plate. And again, this isn't necessary, but this is a tip that a friend found when she was getting she felt she wasn't getting a clear crisp image every time. So all we then need to do, bring in our Kaleido, which is obviously on and being heated, and we simply take our plates and run it through and run our sentiment through as we would do normally. And you'll find a little bit more resistance than standard because we've got the paper in there. So don't leave that paper piece in, only use it when you really want to make sure, or you've not had as much success with an image. But then I peel off the foil, and you can see there I've got the perfect foiled and stamped sentiment. So all I would do is trim up that, mat and layer it, and it's ready to go. Enjoy.